Yippee-ki-yay! That's a putty-upper plaza. Some were actually trying to build something before it all started to end. Finish 'em. This one seems to be in good spirits, despite being... has heard that you have a sense of... Can't suck in enough wind. Wow, that's a solar mirror. You get that pointed at the sun to bring the bright spark. Now you just need to get the solar mirror turned on. Turn it around so the shiny part's pointed at the shiny sky ball. Don't mean to throw shade, but that's not shiny enough. Don't mean to throw shade, but that's not shiny enough. You've got all the shinies lined up. Don't let it wander. Point it. There's Vungo's place, a den of disrepute. Got it.
Ova bubu jak inta silogo partinea face da in yach.
Let's see what you can find. The day is getting on. Guess you still want more than that. There's a serenity about this spot. It's a place. Small parts with great value. Every little bit helps. Better to be on top of a mount than standing behind it. That's Iku's spot, a bunch of heartless raiders. That's more like it. Wonder what you might find. least you got something for your trouble.
Domosakula daremai silogo partinea karuta. No.
You can see so much farther in the light. The sun is heading down. Brickbats probably took longer to build than they did to fall apart. Grit. Hey. Made it count. Easy to lose your way if you can't see landmarks. That's a good find. Go on, catch it. Don't know what that e-waste was. Nice. Metal scrap. You can always use that. Broke it down into scrap. Might not need that now, but you will later. Yeah, the future is in your hands, so take care of it. An aerodrome, where the brave got into tin cans that got tossed through the sky. Don't understand how you could do without this. Just find your footing. Sure cleared them out. You can make something from that. Raw materials for your needs. They call this the Outenabout. Look for Sol in these parts. Surprised to see that you've reached this point in your own story. There are so many different twists and turns it could have taken. Says they can take you from here, no matter how miser-wretched you might be, and bring you somewhere else. With adventures like yours, you must have the most amazing stories to tell. Someone should take the time to write them down before they're lost forever. Your stories could inspire others to work as hard as you and do so many amazing things, maybe even help to save the world. Either way, if you die with your story untold, who's going to know it at all? You need to write it down before it's too late. Says life is like a library. There are more books than you can read in one go, so you have to pick. The choices you make tell us who you are. You're not done yet. Just be choosy in the time you have left. Turns out the story for this world isn't quite over yet. Hopefully, not for a long time. Praises you for working to keep telling this world's story instead of switching to a new one. Likes how you work with the myriad. They made for him the lights by which he reads. Loves how they drive back the darkness. Says there must be more to this story, right? You shouldn't let things out here worry you too much. Sometimes the heat plays tricks with your mind. So what you just saw isn't what you saw. He comes out here for peace of mind. There's a certain amount of quiet needed in the life of a vagabond bookkeeper. He's called Sol for no other reason that he likes to be alone. Sol believes in books as a uniquely portable magic. If the words within are powerful enough, they can take you places you wouldn't think could exist. Figures it's somewhere north of how many meals you've eaten. It's impossible to count. Says he's just got to the end of the book he started last time he was out here and found out it's missing the final 3 pages. He's been dreaming about these pages for some time now, but he realized that imaginary words are not enough. Concrete action must follow to find them. The pages have been seen out there in the dry hot, drifting like leaves in the wind. If you get them for him, he'll treat you to a portable magic of his own device. Says you're the biggest hero for that story since the original writer. Let's see. You need to align the knobs so that they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. to unturn the pipe tighteners to drain the flush stool. That's the kind of trouble you really want to wash away. You should be able to use that. Don't let anything go to waste. Wonder how far northwest the dunes stretch. Oh, that's some skronky metal scrap there. See that e-waste? You could use that for sure. You need to regulate the nozzles so they adjoin. Now that's unblocked, there's nothing stopping the flow. This won't be a field trip, it's the real thing. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. You're such a luckster. Broke it down as far as you could. That's sure to be useful. You seem to have made a new friend. Good parts make for good scrap. Can't break it down any more than that. Sure useful. That sort of stuff always comes in handy. It's all about destiny. Yours, mine, the entire world's. A key for every lock. Can never have too much scrap, plastic or otherwise. You need to line up the switches so they match. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Nice shot. Heroes make for the best stories. It's up to you if you want to be one. Wonder what you could make with that. Could that be the whirring of a fan nearby? Look, that must be the pages Saul's missing. Like walking down a trail. Saul says he didn't think you'd find all the pages before him, but he wonders if he let the mirages fool him where you did not. Saul says his trunk took his sightseeing to the next level, but now you're the one going places. You'll make better use of it than him. The trunk has taken him places he couldn't have gone on his own, and that's been really uplifting. You should latch on to the trunk. It's time to hit the road. Hopes you'll make better use of it than he did. It's ready to tote the totals from your tales. Saul can't wait to escape the heat. Says you should take it easy. Made from the right stuff. The trunk is large enough to fit all your luggage, even the memories that made the biggest impact. You don't have to leave anything behind. Saul says he's happy to have met you. Not many left out here with an open mind. He wants to keep the end of the book to himself, but he has no problem sharing everything else. He picked up a thing or two as a traveling man. Just let him know if you want to have a look. Says they let someone put thoughts from their heads into yours, no matter the distance or time. What would you call that? Heard you found the perfect vessel for any kind of travel, right? You discovered the Ark. Declares it's his favorite thing in the world. Next to books, of course. Wonders what an ark's good for when the world doesn't need to be escaped from. But hey, there's so much to see here too. You helped out so much around here. It's good the ark found its way to you. He doesn't want to read too much into this, but who's going with you in the ark?
So, what we have here is an opportunity to...
Why? You don't need anyone else but...
If you want to go...
But you know you can't go on with...
Can't wait to join you on your journey. Just has to pick the right books to bring along. Sol says he's ready to pack up and leave. How scared of the dark are you? Ouch! The Tree of Life still stands. Question is, for how long? This is a hard and dusty place. So many motor juice stations still. Imagine when they all still work. So much go juice. You can't really understand your story till it's done. You have a good eye for that stuff. The residents here couldn't agree on what to name their village, so they just call it X. Let's see. Sometimes the smallest pieces of scrap are the ones you make yourself. That's an improvement. Just be glad that beastie let you on. Stunk's fort is right here. Don't even have to look for it. Well placed. Bolted. Flame. The deep cut. Wow, wow, wow. This one seems to be in good. Asks you to do the right thing.
Ja.
Is poke around, see what you find. You're in charge of that mount. Act like it. Heads up. That's the blimp station, home of the notorious Lobo. What a mess that notice board is. So many hopes lost, all long forgotten. I'll bet if you poke around here, you'll find Lobo working on her gull blimp. Passengers used to board and leave blimps here up until they couldn't see through the smog anymore. It's not the flying that kills you, it's when you land wrong. Keep your eyes open and you might find a new track around here. Maybe even learn a thing or two. We all share the same destiny, destruction or survival. You can't leave tracks in the air, even when it's as smoggy as this. They didn't help, but lots of things made the air awful. You learned more about the world, but not even the sky's the limit from here on. Broke it down to the basics. The best kind. This story is as powerful as you'll let it be. You'd think a notice board like that must have had all sorts of travel schedules posted on it over the years. But that's all come to an end. Keep your eyes on the horizon. There should be an up in the station around here. This is where travelers used to get on ancient flap-flap machines and fly high above the dirty clouds. They called it an aerodrome, from what you'd be able to tell from old pamphlets found here. They sure did. The filth from them fell to the earth, so they eventually had to land in it with the rest of us. Look sharp and you'll probably find traces of travels here too. That's it! No surprise that travelers wound their way through here. Air travel used to be the fastest way to get around. Maybe too fast. You miss a lot of the world when you're buzzing over it. Not these ones. Not anymore. Flying that fast is terribly tricky, though. If you got one of them to work, you'd probably crash it. You might not be able to fly out of here, but you can still follow more of those traces all over the world. such an intriguing place. Let's see. The Surge Surf Factory. Keep your eye out for Wiz while you're here. Let's see. This is turning out to be quite an expedition. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Wiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking care of his guppos. A surge surf factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, until the surf turned into goo and clogged it all up, that is. The thicker the surf became with goo, the more the machinery clogged up and stopped working. Like most things from the bygone. There are sure to be more tracks around here, maybe by the shore. Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go, but says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths. He set up camp at the foot of the Tree of Life. It's gotten more difficult for it to find defenseless prey, as it's already eaten most of them. Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. Ultimately, it's your choice. You were the one to be wronged and have lived with the consequences. He believes in consequence as it's a direct result of action. Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Maybe that's true for you, but he's not so sure about his own fate. Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Thinks you were smart to join with the Myriad. They have a rainbow of ways to approach any problem. Says they're unified in the ways that matter. But that's not nearly as important as this. Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths. But there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-going. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up mecha Fingro in the mecha stadium that still has one stuck on its back. Find it, and you'll find the tug twister. It's definitely made to lend a helping hand and do the heavy lifting. Toxanol records mention it as an automaton made for moving bionucleus matter into storage areas. This area is known to keep loads of secrets. Impressed you found that, despite all the goo. This place has held power for a long time. In many ways it still does. That would require cleaning up all the goo. Glad you found that track. There's a lot to learn about this world, both here and beyond. At least you're not coming out of this empty-handed. Beats hunting down scrap. More scrap for you, small things for your big ideas. More raw for your crafting. Dawn must be coming soon, because it's awfully dark right now. Those are the kind of things you need. Grab with both hands and start smashing. Sometimes you've just got to start over. You can smell the must down here. That's a keeper. That board is filled with all sorts of hopes and fears of those who didn't like the city or nature and got trapped in between. You're getting close to what they used to call suburbia now. Not quite a city, and nothing like nature. When the cities became too polluted, some moved here. Eventually they ran out of places to escape. Back then, it was easier to move away from the messes you made than try to do anything to clean them. You'll find some traces of travels, even out here in the sticks. Well, what do you know? There's another track. Sometimes even seasoned travelers needed a chance to get away from the hustle of the city. It's a wonderful place to raise a family, if you think there's a future for them. The tracks you found here will lead you back into the thick of things, eventually. There's a serenity about this. Time to get a move on before all your chances slip on by. Cranks like these usually need to be wound to operate the dispenser. What you see is what you get, once it's out of the blind box, that is. With its attention diverted to the chewy bonbon gummy, the Majut calms down. But Noko is still concerned. She's relieved the Majut has calmed down, but you'll need a heavier sit-tight to ride it than the one she's got. The only sit-tight she can think of that would be heavy enough is one she's spotted mounted on an old-world mecha-Majut. If she remembers correctly, she spotted it at the Smilo Shopperia while scavenging for treats for the Gnotes. That's not so far away. Seems to her they preferred the Mecha-Majuts over the living counterparts in the old world. Maybe the Gnotes were near extinct. Let's get that mount moving while the getting is good. Why, you made it to Hoofa. There's a living thing trader somewhere around. Let's see. Asks you to check out a bargain. You need to loosen the bolts without rattling the mechanism. That's it. The sit-tight is loose. Time to stop horsing around and get the sit-tight back to Noko.
Asana yote.
Now that the Majut's got a mouthful of bonbon gummy and the brand new sit-tight is in place, the Majut is ready to ride.
Andro?
Nocco's been training another fantabulous little critter that'll hopefully become a distraction for the hoof puff when you confront it.
Inadabsunka?
She's called them glitter moths, and the best way to find them is to go talk to Mito. She's asked him to keep them somewhere safe.
Kialdo male canoto.
You'll find Mito at Brightlight. He's a light-headed fellow, but hopefully he'll remember where he stored the moths.
Dropalo.
They're small airborne creatures with bright reflective wings and a conspicuous fluttering flight.
Kanamunt.
Thanks to you, the Myriad tribe is much stronger.
Asana yopa.
Wouldn't be surprised if you met again. Just charge right along. Who cares if they see you? This place is called Brightlight. Mito lives close by. Let's see. With the world getting darker by the day, there's not much time left to save it. And even though you've just met, he feels you're bound to play a huge part in that. Figures that doesn't make it any less worth fighting. You've found your way through the darkness. You shine like the sun in the sky, but will you use that power to warm the world or burn it? Hopes you see how much good you can do with power like that, and how easy it is to let it drive you mad. No matter where your path takes you, though, it's important to remember where you came from. The past brightlights the present. Wonders if you know how much of an effect you've had upon the world. Your presence changes things like light changes darkness. Did you realize that when choosing where to shine? Says he can see that in the way you brighten everything up. So happy you know you're helping brighten the world. There's plenty of it that's still worth saving. Whatever happens to the world, you shone as bright as you could. That matters more than you know. Says you did the right thing in taking up with the Myriad. They buy lots of his lamps. That's a tribe that believes in the bright things in the world. Claims he wasn't trying to sell you anything. Now, says he can see by the twinkle in your eyes that you're not here to talk about your allies. He assumes you are here to be enlightened. He can't blame you, as everything just feels dark and hopeless these days. There's something about you, like you're knit together. Your fate's connected. What you've said, he feels too. So, why not call him Me Too? He senses you're like the dayfly, living every day like it's your last, afraid that when night comes, it might be proved right. Believes no one is entirely dark. Even the worst have a spark of good in them. Mito says he's not only into those who shine bright, he likes things that glitter too. He reckons you haven't seen a glitter moth, and says it's about time you did. Even though they're nesting near gone grass, they never run out of glow. Finding yourself a glitter moth would give you that glimmer of hope you need to continue all the way to the end. Glows with delight at your bright passion for the light. Says to not forget to gather the glitter moths. It's just one peak after another. Blisterboo, known for its perfect temperature and atmosphere. The scrap keeps piling up. You can see forever up in the mountains. They used to call this a thoroughfare. Look at all those old homes. Good hit. Look at that metal scrap over there. Up for grabs. That part made a decent pile of scrap. You need to unturn the pipe tighteners to drain the flush stool. That's the kind of trouble you really want to wash away. A fresh start with fresh scrap. Move the arm to make the needle fit the groove. Give it another try. You didn't nail that. Now it's a melodiss. Move the arm to make the needle fit the groove. Give it another try. It's a Chi-Chi bebop code memo. Good thing I'm old enough to decipher it. It sing-songs about a secret below-ground area, just a walkabout from here. This might be the end of everything as we know it. Hey there, Crusher. That place there's a real fixer-upper, not an entirely lost cause. You need to swivel the globus's bearings. You need to swivel the globus's bearings. That's not too bad. It's just one peak after another. Too tight, and the rope tips. Glittermoth Cave is right here. Daytime means the clock to nighttime is ticking.
Inadab sunka,
That's enough glitter moths to make her plan work.
sana yote.
She wants you to stop worrying about the paths you've ridden and focus on the inevitable road ahead, the one that leads to confrontation with the World Eater.
Vaiseno kasamanlu.
The hoof puff is evidence of the duality of evolution, utterly beautiful and grotesque at the same time.
Asinatu.
She means that the hoof puff has had more time to eat at the root as it's been isolated in the Knoopstonies mountains.
Beri?
So, based on that alone, she reckons it has suffered as much damage as the northwest root that's hidden beneath the surf.
Rumblere varsamawun.
It reminds her of the gnotes and, like them, it's hoofed. They're just a lot bigger. As long as karma exists, the world changes, and we change with it. Everything seems so far away. That's Knuckle Down. It's got an upgrade bench in that little blimp up there. Let's see. Stories only survive if someone is listening, so pay attention. It's make your own scrap day. Hold on to that. Says it's bad enough the Tree of Life is dying. Now monsters are chewing everyone to little bits. Scouts spotted a massive monster coming this way. They're all dead for sure. Should they start digging graves? Or maybe you could meet that monster for them. Claims if they knew that, they would have done it already. Good luck. Hopes you can stick around. All you have to do is drive the monster away or kill it. Easy, right? Don't give up now. That monster should be here soon. Thanks you for standing ready to risk your skin for theirs. Overjoyed you beat the monster. That was a wowzer. Remembers when there was enough nature out there that animals could feed themselves just fine. Rescued a bunch of squips, but can't find enough food for them. Seems silly that these critters are so picky, but would you help find some squip food for them? Claims the little critters just tear everything else apart, but don't actually eat it. Says the squips are wiki-picky, but you should be able to find their food. Just collect enough of the pips and drop them in their cage. The squips are getting hungrier by the second. Thinks you'd be a great squip keeper yourself someday. Give it a little pat. Go on. Look how happy those squips are. Look how happy those scripts are. Don't let yourself get fuzzily. You found a chug tunnel. Look both ways before riding that rail.